we think that an important part of this, of course, is the groundwork that was laid by establishing some very stringent and very purposeful health and safety protocols that have laid the foundation for this record-breaking recovery. If you think about it, what we had to do over the last year and a half was to really re-engineer the way we think about travel and tourism and how we as promoters operate. And we're pleased to say today that in Puerto Rico, we are winning the battle against COVID, and the numbers prove that out. Today in our island, 85% of our population have been vaccinated with at least one shot, and 75% have been fully vaccinated. When you think about those numbers, 85% having been vaccinated with at least one shot compared to the national average of 74% in the United States, 75% fully vaccinated compared to the national average of 64%, it's clear not only is Puerto Rico helping lead the great recovery of travel and tourism, we're also leading the effort in vaccination. We know that's important because it creates a sense of confidence, not only for our industry, but for our travelers. And we think a lot of this, of course, has to do with the approach that our governor, our health department, and our businesses throughout the island have taken to ensure that health and safety is a top priority. And for us as a promoter, to make sure that we keep this prominent in all of our communications, as we've helped travelers, meeting planners, tour operators, and professional planners as well orchestrate this recovery for tourism. And we believe this is an important part of our efforts going forward as we lead the island into and through recovery. We believe safeguarding residents and visitors is incredibly relevant and important, not only as we emerge out of this pandemic, but for future planning and destination marketing. Now, our current protocols that are in place are on our destination website, discoverpuertorico.com. You can find all the details there, along with specific questions and answers that you know your readers and your followers will find of interest. One of the particular importance to us is to make sure that we emphasize that today we do require travelers coming to the island to present proof of vaccination or a negative COVID, PCR, molecular, or antigen test. Depending on where you're coming from and where you live and where you're coming from, then that will guide what you provide in the online travel declaration form, which you can find a link from our discoverpuertorico.com website. So for U.S. domestic travelers who've been fully vaccinated, you simply upload your vaccination card. For U.S. travelers who are not vaccinated, and for international visitors, you upload your negative COVID test. And by the way, if you find yourself at San Juan International Airport, having not been vaccinated and you don't have your COVID test, we do offer the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine and COVID test right at our airport to make it very convenient for travelers. All of this information is on our website, as well as the information about business protocols. So once you receive your QR code, you exit the airport, you'll find that businesses all throughout the island are operating at full capacity, but with stringent control to protect and safeguard the health and safety of both residents and visitors. So for example, we do have a mask mandate for indoor locations such as restaurants, retail, or indoor attractions. And while the businesses are operating at full capacity, they do request to have validation of either vaccination or the negative COVID test, whether you're checking into your hotel, your out-of-door, your independent rental, or perhaps you're visiting the restaurant. So the same validation that you use coming through the airport, you use at local businesses. And all of this information is on our website, including specifics about the 5-hour curfew that's in place right now, which begins at midnight and ends at 5 a.m. each day. Now, this focus on health and safety really laid the foundation for who could have thought we'd be talking about a record-setting year in 2021. When you look at today in Puerto Rico, year to date, we've had record-level visitation, 12% above the previous record that was set in 2019. So far this year, we've had 6 consecutive months of all-time lodging revenues, lodging tax collections, and not only in the hotel sector, but also the independent rental sector, which is interesting to think that now we have thousands of local owners who are now part of the visitor economy helping fuel this record-setting recovery. The hotel revenue in July, for example, was $101 million, which is the first time ever Puerto Rico has generated that much revenue in the lodging sector in just 1 month. So these record-setting numbers, both for occupancy, for demand, for yield, are underscoring an amazing recovery. Who would have thought we'd be talking about this 6 months or 12 months ago? But in fact, 2021 has turned out to be a record-setting year, outpacing the previous record-setting year just 2 years ago from 2019. As you might expect, we're not just seeing these numbers in our hotel sector, but also at our airport, where we're seeing record level of arrivals. For example, in the month of July, there were 553,000 people arrived at our airport. That beat the previous record set in June, the month before, 512,000 plus. And we're very, very encouraged to see that Kayak recently reported Puerto Rico as one of the top search for destinations for summer travel. OAG recognized that the Orlando, Florida to San Juan route was actually the busiest route in the world earlier this year, and the second quarter of airport arrival set an all-time quarterly record. So people are arriving, they're traveling, they're spending, and I think all of this really underscores Puerto Rico is a great model that we can protect health and safety and also generate economic prosperity through travel. And that's an important point as we continue forward and manage this intersection between public health and travel.